Howdy. Two classic Autobots get the Legends treatment for Reveal the Shield. First, Trailcutter, the new name for Trailbreaker, one of the original Autobots who hasn't had a toy since G1 itself. 27 years later, he finally gets one, and he's a Legends figure. Really? Is that it? I mean, I know he wasn't the most prominent character in the show, and there have been several, albeit failed attempts at making a new Trailbreaker, but come on! Surely he deserves better than this. Maybe he'll get a deluxe someday. I mean, that's what happened with Hound, but even he got an alternator before that. Even without the red and yellow stripes, the camper truck is still recognizable as Trailbreaker. Though it seems less stocky the more I look at the original toy. Like a lot of Legends alt modes, there's not a lot to it. That even if they didn't use the original deco, some paint on the sides would have been nice. But it's still not bad, and at the very least, it holds together really well. Since he's a Reveal the Shield figure, you have the classic rub sign stuck on top, and he's an Autobot. Yep, even without this, I think we all know whose side he's on. As with most of these recent classics, the transformation is very G1 accurate. From the front, the robot mode also looks a lot like Trailbreaker. The details are there where they're needed, such as the silver and red on his legs, and the radar, which in this case is part of his head sculpt. Unfortunately, this looks like Trailbreaker in bad ways. Between his general shortness, bulky limbs, kneeless legs, and huge chest, he just looks stumpy and fat. The G1 toy was the same, so I'm guessing they're staying true to his roots. And to top it all off, yeah, from the back he's pretty hollow. Like I said, he has no knees, which is a shame since the rest of him is actually fairly poseable. One could argue that he could actually look up and down on his waist joint. However, you're supposed to push his stomach all the way in, and it doesn't really lock, but it stays firmly in place once you do, and you just leave it as a display piece. Prowl, by contrast, has had quite a few toys, even before the new millennia. They practically have his G1 form down to a science. Having said that, this particular version of it looks flattened, like a Corvette or some other long, sleek sports car. But it's still a police car. You got the light bar and quite a few paint apps on him, which thankfully make him look a little less bland than Trailcutter. And of course, you got the rub sign on his hood. Autobot again. Since Hasbro never remold the Legends, I doubt they'll ever remove the light bar and remake this into Smokescreen or Bluestreak. Prowl's transformation is identical to Universe 2 Jazz's. And as such, they share the same pluses and minuses here. The chest stays firmly in place without having to lock anywhere. In fact, all the ball joints and pins are quite stiff, making for a stable figure. His articulation and posability is better than Trailcutter's. Not by much, but He's capable of more than one pose other than just, you know, standing up. Again, the details are there where they're needed. Doors for wings, the hood becomes the chest, even his head is well sculpted and painted. There's nothing really wrong with this figure. The design is just too common. It uses the same generic car transformation that's been done to death by this point. In and of itself though, it's an okay figure. All in all, I mildly recommend both of these. They're decent, but as far as Prowl's concerned, you're better off with the deluxe. As for Trailcutter, you may want to wait for a deluxe. Or any larger size toy for that matter. Next I'm reviewing one of my favourite Technic models of all time. Until then, till all are one.